What's up guys, Chris Pabs with my first Plumber review. This time we're taking a look at the figurized amplified MetalGarurumon from Digimon Try and Digimon Adventure. You can get this kit and many more at Canadian Gundam. Use the coupon code Gunpla Network to get yourself 10% off as well as flat rate shipping to the US and Canada. Now when I first picked up this guy, I was not expecting much, but the build quality and the details absolutely blew me away. It was such a fun build and the details are absolutely spectacular. There are so many pointed things on this that I've poked myself a couple of times, but it was well worth it as this was definitely a fun little build. Definitely a highlight of last year. It's got some really great color separation, the lavender, the blue, the magenta, and a whole host of clear parts just make this thing absolutely pop. And let's go ahead and get into the articulation, because that is another highlight. Now in terms of articulation, this guy's kind of a double-edged sword. You can't touch this thing without moving a joint, but let's go ahead and start with the head. Moving the top of his head allows him to open his jaw. You can see there's some pretty cool detail in there, like the tongue and his teeth. However, if you keep his mouth open, you won't be able to move the base of his head as much. So let's close that. The neck joint has a swivel that allows it to go up and down, as well as left and right. And it's got some very limited tilt. Now the shoulders are on this pretty cool mechanism where if you pull it out, see the mechanism here, that will allow the shoulders to tilt up and down about this much, as well as move forward and backward about this much. And then if you don't want to see those joints at all you have to do is just push them back in, no problem. Now the torso is on a series of ball joints, and that allows for a lot of movability. So you can swivel the top torso this much at the base, as well as the neck. And then at the base of the neck, there's also another joint that allows movement of the shoulders in this way. Now the bottom part of the torso also has a ball joint. Now it's one of the looser connections and for a good reason. But that allows for a lot of movement. And then onto the arms, where it's one of the stiffer joints, where you can move it up about this much, and then back this much. And then the elbow has a little over 90-degree of movement. And then there's this also pretty cool joint, kind of a ball swivel that allows movement kind of freely left and right, up and down. And then it also has a very slight toe bend. Now onto the hind legs, it's very similar to the front, where it's got a ball joint and it can move forward about this much and back. The only limitation is that the toe doesn't have a joint like the front. However, it does have that swivel ball on the foot, so that's a lot of movement right there. The tail has a barbell joint in between those two gold pieces, and it can move about this much, which isn't a lot. But overall, the articulation on this guy is great. However, moving this thing, wherever you hold it, something will move. Also on the wings, they can kind of move out this much. And then on the those ball pieces right there, they can swivel up and down. And they can't move left and right, even though they look like they can. So just be wary of that. Now, in terms of accessories, this guy doesn't come with much. But it does come with some pretty impressive things. So this is pretty much all that this guy comes with. So it comes with this action base, the two effect parts, and a special kind of barbell piece. Here's the action base, an action base 4. And then these two effect parts really nicely molded in this clear yellow, very sharp. But these are for specific pieces, which we'll show off later. And then this piece, which doesn't really look like anything much, it looks like a barbell joint with a peg. But what you can do with that guy is take his head, and then what we'll do here is let's just open up his mouth. And on the roof of the mouth, there is a peg hole right there. So what we'll do is we'll take that accessory and just put it in his mouth, and then there's a peg that goes into that hole. And let's try that again. Let's put that peg into the hole right there. Now be careful, if you push it too much, what you'll actually do is you'll unclip his mouth. But there you go, that's all you have to just put that in the peg. And then just remove his wing right here. It's on a peg on that ball. And then what we'll do is kind of fold it out and then remove the missile launcher right there. Again, it's on a very tight peg. And then what we'll do is we'll just kind of push it in. Now the teeth makes it kind of difficult to get that peg in the hole, but once you get it, you'll be left with this effect where it looks like he's holding kind of a sword or blade weapon, which is really cool. Definitely a cool look, and I think I've seen a couple of episodes of him doing this. And then you can also take off the other wing, and you can place it on that other peg hole on the other side, and he kind of has like a double-bladed weapon that he holds with his mouth, and that is, I think, pretty cool. That's a pretty cool look. Especially if you put him into another type of dynamic pose. It's a pretty really cool effect with all the articulation, so you can definitely get him in some nice poses. The other thing that comes with this is an action base 4. Using that lavender that MetalGarurumon has all over his body. It's the same color. It's definitely a cool action base. And then what you have is a bunch of clear parts, and you use one of these to be able to attach MetalGarurumon to the stand. So you take this guy right here, and just place it on the peg. And then the next thing that you have to do is take Garurumon and kind of tear him in half using that kind of loose torso ball. And then you just place the front part kind of into the clear piece, and then reconnect the ball, kind of sandwiching that clear piece in between. And there you go, you have him on an action base. You can put him, again, with the great articulation this guy has, you can put him in some pretty cool poses. You can, kind of put his wings out, give him a pretty cool flying pose. Just got some great detail, and then you can take the effect parts and you can place those on the wings. So you have 3 tabs on the end, and those correspond with the slots on the back of his wings, and you can put them on either side. They don't specify which, so you can put them on any side that you want to. And there you go, like really nice looking effect. Very simple, but it's very striking, especially if you get them in the right pose. It's a really nice kind of addition, and definitely a cool look. Now, in terms of builds, this was definitely a highlight for 2020 for me. It was just a fun, very simple one-day build. The articulation is amazing, the color separations are great, the gimmicks are very simple and fantastic. But otherwise, definitely a must-get if you're not only a big fan of Digimon, but just great model kits in general. This was definitely my first foray, and this won't be my last kind of looking into the Figurize Amplified line. So if you want to get these and many more, you guys can check out Canadian Gundam. You can use the code Gunpla Network to get 10% off your order with flat rate shipping to the US and Canada. And once again, I've been Chris Pabs, and I will see you guys on the next one.